Good morning. This is XPulse AI Morning Mix. It's Wednesday, May 27th, 2026. Today, Apple telegraphs a big generative AI moment ahead of WWDC, Washington backs off pre-release model reviews, and investors keep pouring into the run the models layer. I've got Orion with me. Ready?
Ready, let's do it.
Business Today reported on May 25th that Apple quietly put up a new GenAI.apple.com page, and it's rolling expanded Apple Intelligence into iOS 27, iPadOS 27, and macOS 27 ahead of WWDC on June 8th. Orion, what's Apple signaling here?
This is Apple planting a flag. We're not dabbling, this is a platform. The page is a public breadcrumb, and the reporting points to deeper generative features across Photos, Messages, Safari, and productivity apps. The most interesting hint is a more chatbot-like Siri, wrapped in Apple's privacy-first positioning.
What would count as a real step change at WWDC?
Two things. First, on-device capability that feels fast and reliable, not cloud maybe. Second, real developer hooks, system-level AI actions that let apps hand off tasks to Siri or Apple Intelligence safely. If Siri can do multi-step work across apps, that's the glow-up.
And what's the risk if they overpromise?
Expectations. Users now compare everything to the best chatbots instantly. If Apple ships generative features that are cautious but flimsy, wrong summaries, awkward rewrites, it backfires. But if they nail privacy plus usefulness, they can make AI feel default, not optional.
South China Morning Post reported on May 26 that President Donald Trump's administration walked back plans for an executive order that would have required federal agencies to review advanced AI models before deployment, citing competitiveness with China. Orion, what changes now?
It shifts the U.S. approach toward ship faster, govern later, at least at the federal level. The argument is that mandatory approvals slow iteration, especially compared to China's registry-style system. The practical effect: more responsibility lands on companies, auditors, procurement teams, and, eventually, courts.
Does that increase pressure on labs or reduce it?
In the short term, it reduces formal friction, but pressure doesn't disappear, it relocates. Big buyers will still ask for evaluations, safety cases, and incident response plans. And if something goes wrong, the question becomes, what did you do to prevent it? Not, did the government approve it?
Bloomberg reported today, May 27th, that Fireworks AI is in talks to raise funding at about a $15 billion valuation. Orion, first, what does Fireworks do in plain English?
Fireworks helps companies run AI models in production: hosting, inference, optimization, and the operational plumbing, latency, cost controls, monitoring, and reliability. It's part of the model runtime wave, less about inventing new models, more about making models usable and affordable at scale.
$15 billion, what's the investor bet?
That inference is the durable spend. Training grabs headlines, but day-to-day costs come from serving models to users. If Fireworks can consistently lower token spend, improve throughput, and make deployments boring, in the good way, it becomes a core utility. $15 billion, my budget just fainted.
Who should feel the heat if this round happens?
Other inference platforms, plus the big clouds, because Fireworks competes on performance and cost. Also, internal platform teams. Executives may ask, why are we building this ourselves? If budgets tighten, the vendors that prove savings win.
StartupHub.ai reported on May 25th that Anthropic, Mistral, Google DeepMind, and Meta each acquired AI startups within a 5-day window, often as talent hires or technology licenses, not splashy deals. Orion, what pattern are you seeing?
It looks like capability shopping. Instead of buying whole companies for narrative value, labs are buying specific ingredients: agent tooling, evaluation pipelines, data systems, safety research, or niche multimodal tech. It's consolidation, but optimized for speed. Get the team or the IP, plug it into the roadmap.
Why keep it quiet instead of announcing everything?
3 reasons. You avoid setting off antitrust alarms, you keep competitors guessing about your roadmap, and you reduce integration drama for the acquired team. Loud acquisitions create expectations. Quiet ones create shipping velocity.
So, what should listeners watch for over the next quarter?
More strategic hires that look like normal recruiting but come with product leaps a month later. And watch for sudden feature jumps, new eval dashboards, stronger coding agents, better memory, because those often reflect a small acquisition snapping into place.
The Rochester Business Journal reported on May 26 that labor and employment attorneys are warning employers about legal and privacy risks as AI gets used more in hiring and personnel decisions. Orion, what are the main landmines?
Discrimination and disparate impact is number one. Models can replicate bias even if you never feed them protected traits. Then, privacy and confidentiality. What data goes in, where it's stored, and who can access it. And vendor oversight. If a tool makes bad calls, the vendor did it, won't shield you.
If you're starting from scratch, what's the first sane policy move?
Make an inventory of every AI-assisted decision point, resume screening, interview notes, performance flags. Then define who approves tools, what human review is required, what gets documented, and how outcomes are audited. Your policy should be operational, not a poster on the wall.
And if a company's already using these tools today?
Add monitoring and appeal paths. Track selection rates, test for adverse impact, and keep records of how decisions were made. Minimize sensitive inputs, tighten access, and renegotiate vendor contracts around audits, data retention, and incident reporting. Quiet risk becomes loud during disputes.
All right, let's hit the rest of the board with the stuff that still matters, even if it's flying a bit under the radar. Orion, take us through it.
On infrastructure, Tech Times on May 26th says TrendForce expects custom AASIC shipments up about 44.6% in 2026 versus about 16.1% for merchant GPU shipments. Hyperscalers keep designing their own accelerators. And Digital Citizen on May 25th notes Jensen Huang and Lisa Su are in Taipei for Computex starting June 2nd. Hardware news likely incoming. Also, Let's Data Science on May 26th reports Microsoft is curbing some third-party model licenses internally, nudging teams toward GitHub Copilot CLI. Token economics are turning into budget meetings.
On the consumer side and workforce side, what popped?
CNBC TV 18 reported on May 27th that DuckDuckGo installs and traffic surged as users reacted to Google's AI-heavy search changes. Some people want less chatbot in their search box. Yahoo reported on May 26th the National Science Foundation launched statewide AI workforce hubs aimed at coordinating upskilling and literacy. And the Korea Herald reported on May 27th that Anthropic named Choi Ki-young as its first Korea chief, ahead of a Seoul office launch, stepping up the enterprise race there.
Two quick ones. Boston and AI agents actually saving time?
Tech startups reported on May 26th that Basetin, an inference and deployment startup, is in talks to raise about $1 billion at an $11 billion valuation. That's more capital chasing the make inference painless layer. On real-world agents, AI Magazine on May 26th says Cactus Life Sciences deployed Microsoft AI agents and claims about a 50% cut in scientific data extraction time. Policy-wise, GovTech on May 26th says a Michigan bill advanced to study and oversee state government IUs, while the House of Commons Library on May 26th updated its briefing on the UK's sector-led AI regulation approach.
That's Xpulse AI Morning Mix from Xpulse for Wednesday, May 27, 2026. Share it with someone who'd find it useful. See you next time.